I remember one thing my father used to tell me, the old minister, two kinds of sermons he hated to do: hellfire and brimstone and stewardship. Well, at least this isn't a stewardship sermon. Let's look at this. Their situation here. We have somebody, he's doing real well, wearing the finest clothes, eating all sorts of food in huge quantities, and just living life. And he's aware of other people around him, he's just not concerned. Does he? He obviously knows who Lazarus is, because he mentioned him by name later. Who was Lazarus? A guy that, due to some unfortunate circumstance, found himself homeless, living in the street, basically dumpster diving for food from this guy's leftovers. You know, life is not good for him, because you're outside, you don't have great hygiene, you develop skin breakdowns, and luckily the only first aid for him he got him was the dogs would clean him out for him. That's not much of a life. Whereas the other guy, he was getting everything he wanted. But he didn't care. He didn't do anything to help Lazarus. I'm sure he didn't make sure there was extra food thrown out there for him. He didn't accidentally throw away some new clothes, so the guy probably had decent clothing to wear to protect him from the elements. Because as they said, ancient Israel, it may not have gotten cold in the winter, but it was hot, it was dry, it's a semi-arid climate. They don't get a lot of rain. So bathing probably was a real problem. As time goes on, they both pass away. And the rich man, he gets to his eternal lack of reward, we'll call it. He sees Lazarus is up there on the side we all want to be on. So first he asked for some help from Lazarus, probably, which was pretty cheeky of him, because I don't think he ever did much of anything to help Lazarus, or he probably wouldn't have ended up where he did, because he was not helping his fellow man. And then, when that didn't work, he said, well, can't you send him down to tell my brothers? He goes, we gave your brothers all the tools. Whether they follow them or not is their choice. Same way we have all the tools. Whether we follow them or not, it's our choice. There's a clear-cut choice. Do you want to go where you spend eternity, or someplace where life is comfortable, or someplace where the heat's always on super high? It's your choice. But it's not simply due to the fact that the one man was wealthy that he ended up where he did. It's how he lived his life. Because you go further on, the lesson in Timothy toward the end says how to live your life. It doesn't say whether through a combination of your hard work and blessings from God, you're not amply rewarded financially on this earth. But if you are, how do you do that and retain a godly life? And I was looking at this, and I was going, and anybody knows much about me, I'm a big music person, especially rock and roll and blues. And I remember the line from a song. It's called, the first line of the song goes like this: it's in the way that you use it, Lord, don't you know? It's how we use what we have. We can choose to use every cent we have selfishly, not helping anybody, going through life living strictly for yourself, going against God's wishes, God's commandments. You now know what will happen. Or we can live another way. We can do it in many ways. We all do it here. You just look at what we have in the church today, and not long ago we took stuff to Pine Ridge. I see there's another winter coat drive. There's always bring stuff. You can drop stuff off for the food bank wherever you want to. These all help those less fortunate than us. Portion of our offering goes to programs like that. And I'm sure we all have countless other ways we do it in our life. In fact, they don't have to be big, they don't have to be small. I'm going to give you an example of a ministry that my wife does that you may not be aware of, that I think is admirable and is very godlike. About a year ago, my wife had some major hand surgery. And unfortunately, the recovery for it involved her having the inability to put her prosthetic legs on and off. So she went to a rehab facility to learn things. And unfortunately, most rehab facilities are with nursing homes, and this is how we found out, but she was right on the edge of it. Her next door neighbor was an elderly woman. And this elderly woman had managed to, prior to being in the home, lost both her husband, who she'd been married to for many, many years, and her child. And her sister was in another home and unable to come and see her, so she was alone. So my wife took upon herself to spend time with her while she was in there. And after she's left, she's ever in the area, she stops in and sees her. She'll send her a card, make sure she has something for Christmas, make sure she has something for her birthday. And the joy she gives to that woman's life is immense. I think if we look at our own lives, I bet most of us have some form of that we undertake, because that's part of what we as Christians should do. That's sharing. We can do it institutionally through the church, but we can also do it on a personal basis, whether it's helping somebody out who needs help, whether it's finding someone who's lonely and making sure they're not lonely all the time, bringing a little joy and happiness to an otherwise bleak life. There are many ways to do it. We need to find one, and if we have the time and the money and the resources where we can do something on a grand scale, that's fine. But if we can't, as Christians, if we want to live a Christian life, the Lord said, do unto others as you would have done unto you. You'd like, if you were lonely, if you were down, if you needed some help, you'd like it. Remember, other people also think that way. With that, I thank you for your attention.